Yo, how's it going, guys? It's Richie Unicorn Call here, and I hope you guys are having a wonderful day. It is Friday, you made it to the weekend, and we got a lot to talk about, and some brand new spell teasers. So yeah, sit back, relax. We're gonna talk about that towards the end. Right now, let's just get done the news real quick. Let's talk about Wizard101 on console and the update for that. Right now, it's the same thing I say every single day. Pretty much same thing. Free membership testing is on the Xbox Game Preview Beta build. So that's available if you ever wanted to check that out. Right now, there is no current type of release date as of right now. So sit back, relax, and yeah, just let KI or whoever is making the game, let them cook for a little bit. And yeah, hopefully they do well with the launch of it because they've been going by pretty good so far. I mean, obviously they kind of announced it a little bit too early, but yeah, it's so far so good. And then over here, the Technomancer bundle, we talked about this and did a whole overview of that, so make sure to check that video out. But this is a beautiful, and I mean a beautiful bundle. A lot of people criticized it because it doesn't come with a house, which we're getting an upcoming housing bundle pretty soon, or, you know, in the foreseeable future, probably around October. But yeah, this is a pretty cool bundle. The gear itself is amazing. And no, sadly, the gear cannot be dyed. But yeah, even then, it's still such a really cool bundle. Even the mount is a 52% speed boost mount, which is, it also looks pretty impressive. So again, make sure to check that bundle out. Now over here we have the 5 boxes event, so make sure you're checking this out as well, because that is going to be wrapping up soon on the 22nd will be the last day, so make sure to check that out. Over here, we got the spectacular 17th birthday, which we talked about over time. It's going to wrap up on the 30th, so just make sure you're checking out the Crown Shop, and make sure you're getting that free code and redeeming that in time, because the 30th will be the last time that you can redeem that. So again, just make sure to check it all out. And then over here, we got the Undersea Enchantment Bundle, which had returned. Now, remember, this is going to be expired on the 22nd, so that would be your last day to get this bundle if you wanted to check it out. So make sure to grab that. And then over here, we got a Throwback Weekend, which is going to last all the way through September 21st. And basically, the Ranger Marksman Bow has returned. So make sure to check that out if you wanted that. And then over here, we have the Dragon Riders bundle, which is available. Basically comes with a bunch of stuff from the limited time Shinobi Dragon Mount, Bone Dragon Mount, Dragon Wings Mount, and Guardian's Outfit, and a Mega Snap Pack. Why do they always gotta slide in a Mega Snap Pack? Like, why? Like, that seems to always be the catch. Like, here's a Mega Snap Pack just because of why. You know, why not? Anyway, it will be available through the 21st if you want to check that out. Might be a good to check that bundle out because in the Crown Shop, because you know it has the Bone Dragon mount, and I know how tricky, I guess, that mount can be. I think you gotta be like a specific level or something like that. I don't know the specifics of it, but I just know that's one of the popular mounts that you can buy. So check that out and have fun with that. Over here, we got the new Prospector's items, or equipment. This is the Prospector Zeke type of attire. Now, what's funny is, and they don't tell you this, but if you look in the backpack, I mean, I don't have any pictures right now, but if you look in the backpack of this outfit, you can actually see Zeke's eyes are in the backpack, which is actually a pretty funny little Easter egg. So make sure to check that out in the Crown Shop. Actually, we might be able to preview that. Because that's just funny to me. That's really funny. So make sure to check that out. And then over here, just a reminder that these membership benefits are wrapping up soon. The double animus and double pet XP, and also the training point buyback. I honestly haven't been farming a lot of double animus lately. I know I should, but I've just been kind of taking a breather with the game for a little bit because I already put in enough hours as it does with this game, and we have a raid today, and then I have to double box the raid. If you guys don't know what double boxing is, I have to play on 2 accounts. My one account, which is Richard Unicorn Caller, that's going to be in the Vanguard side, and then on the outside, it's going to be a non-combat role. So yeah, I got to play 2 accounts at the same time. unfortunately, because we don't have the sufficient player count. Like, we don't have 12 total players. It's always the puller role. Like, nobody wants to mob pull. That is like the only role that never ever gets filled, because every time we put someone new that does that, or they just haven't done a raid, that always messes up. Like, not a single person knows how to do it. There's like literally a 2-minute video out there about how to mob pull, but like nobody either watches it or they don't understand it. So yeah, sometimes you gotta do things by yourself. Unfortunately, as guild leader, you just gotta do things by yourself, unfortunately, which sucks, because I would love to give someone else that loot. You know, I'm always someone that, like, you know, if there's not enough players for the raid, you know, it just sucks, because now my ult is just gonna have all this like high level gear. But yeah, anyway, let's go on to this one. Wizard101 posted this cute little picture of a 24 karat gold Lumi, which this thing is absolutely adorable. So yeah, funny post right there. And then over here, we actually got a KI Live, which we have not seen a KI Live in so long. Remember, they've been doing a little bit of renovations with that. But this one is going to air Thursday, September 25th, 2025 at 4 p.m. Central Time, as we celebrate the 17th spectacular years of Wizard101. So obviously, they'll probably give out some free codes, some goodies and stuff like that. But I would love for some Darkmoor teasers. I really am excited for Darkmoor. I know a lot of people are skeptical about it, but I really am so excited for that. So make sure to check this live stream out whenever it does come. I mean, we'll give you guys reminders over again. By the way, make sure you guys subscribe so you guys get notified about whenever this happens, and also the overview, because we do the overview of these KI lives and show you all the teasers, if they show any teasers. I don't know what they're going to do. And of course, the free codes. So yeah. Anyway, let's go over here. Get more gear contests. We talked about this Darkmoor contest a little bit. You know, it's like, I don't think, again, it's one of those things where I'm just taking a breather with this game. I don't want to, like, put 50 billion hours into it, and so does nobody else. I mean, everybody else, we're criticizing, surprisingly. And, you know, it's funny because I see a lot of these types of events happen from time to time, but this has got to be, like, one that has been heavily criticized a lot. So I'm just hoping that in the future, if they do want to do a type of event like this, or a contest, I hope they just take all that criticism and just put it into any other future type of contest. Because honestly, you know, there's only one winner, and, you know, the tasks for it seems kind of vague, and there's not really like a counter, or, you know, it seems like kind of a vague, you know, type of challenge. I'm sure somebody will win it. Obviously, it's inevitable. But yeah, I'm not wasting my time with it. I actually saw some comments talking about the summer showdown that we had earlier this year, and that was a little bit better, I would have to say, in terms of like the organizational format of it, because I think it was telling you to do multiple things and not just one thing. And I think that was a little bit better constructed than this one. This one just seems kind of like it's out there. You know, go do it, hype up Darkmoor content, I guess. You know, it is what it is. So, again, just make sure to check that out. Join some team-ups, and good luck. And then over here, we got Merle Ambrose's birthday bash, which is still around. It's going to last all the way through the September 30th, so make sure you're checking that out as well. And then we also got the Fall Scroll of Fortune. This is awesome. Make sure to check out this entire Scroll of Fortune. I'm actually kind of almost done with it. I've just been grinding that primarily. So make sure to check that out. And then over here, we got some events as well. Beast Moon Mountain Mayhem, and also the Pet Promenade, which I highly recommend the Pet Promenade, because you can get some pretty cool elixirs from there. So make sure to check that out. And then over here, we got the Aquila Chronicle pack. Just a reminder that it is in the Crown Shop. I might have to open up a few because I need that balance fawn. I'm trying to find somebody with the balance fawn. I probably have to ask my Discord. I'm trying to get that, what was it, that hybrid Skeletorian or Skele Warrior pet, whatever it's called. Been trying to do that lately. And over here, we got the Ravenwood Academy Wizard101 story. And same thing like I told you last time. We already know that it's coming out in 2026. That's awesome. Just waiting on any other type of maybe teasers or anything else. It's still an early development game, and this is one of those things kind of similar to the whole like early announcement of the whole Wizard101 on console. I think it's been like 2 years for this. I think it's been a very long time. This was announced a very long time ago. So yeah, they are still in an early work in progress. So make sure to add that to your wish list on Steam so you can stay notified about that. All right, ladies and gentlemen, sorry for the long news, but now we finally have some spell teasers, or at least I think of them as spell teasers. So yeah, let's jump right into it. I'm super excited. So sit back, relax, and check it out. It's certainly in the cards for you. New spells, that is. Learn more about how this early step turns into a cinematic spell next week on KI Live. So already confirmed that we're going to get some spell teasers on KI Live, hopefully. And then we have this little image right here, which is really cool. All right, so let's check it out. And this is, again, this is early development. This is how they make the spells. We see a spellcaster just making these symbols and spell cards, and then boom, right? It's pretty cool. I think it's pretty cool, right? It looks cool. So, yeah. Hey, I'll even move my big fat head. There you go. Check that out. That's cool. It's really, it's just awesome to see how they make these spells and stuff like that. It's really cool. So, that is one of the spell teasers. You might like this if you're interested in, game development and stuff like that. It could be, I don't know if this will be a balance spell or a myth spell. And there's really not much to analyze here. I'm not really good with analyzation. So you can make your own comments about that. Maybe you might know the symbols or something like that. Or I don't know. Maybe it might be a storm spell, a balance spell. I have no idea. So check that out. Pretty cool stuff. Now we have some really, and I mean some really big changes in the shadow meta. So this comes in from Cam because he did a live stream yesterday, and he basically gave us a few spell teasers, or at least some spell reworks. So I'm super excited to show you all this because I love shadow spells. I really do. So let's go over here to the donate shadow, right? Now, we talked about shadow packs and all that stuff. Now, Donate Shadow doesn't have a shadow pack because you're just giving a shadow pip to someone. Now, the shadow pip, I'm going to show you what it looks like. Actually, let me switch screens real quick. I'm going to show you what Donate Shadow looks like now. And it's probably one of the worst spells in the game, and I don't know how it took so long for them to kind of look into this. But yeah, this is Donate Shadow. So basically, you give one shadow pip to the target. Now, in order to cast this spell, it takes 2 shadow pips, which, in my personal opinion, never made sense. Because why would you wait so long, especially with the way how shadow pip rating works, to even cast this spell? You're sacrificing 2 shadow pips. So, yeah, not a lot of people, at least I haven't seen a lot of people even use this spell to begin with. And I think that is also one of those spells that released, like, super early. Like, no, I think it was Shadow Trickster. Was it Shadow Trickster or Donate Shadow? I can't remember. I think it was Shadow Trickster. I might be confusing myself. But, anyway, going back on topic, this spell sucks, all right? And it's also a 75 accuracy. So, if you don't even have universal accuracy, you can actually fizzle this spell to begin with. So, yeah, in my opinion, this spell just wasn't really one of those things as a support player where you would want to put it in, because, it's just like, that would take so long to get those shadow pips. Anyway, going on to the new reworked version, Cam says that the reason this doesn't have a pack is because you're just giving a shadow pip to someone else. This one, you're not using the power of shadow, you're just giving it to someone else. So this is the new reworked version, and this is awesome. Okay, now first of all, it only takes 1 shadow pip, so everybody clap. That's awesome. That's what we wanted years ago. Level 120 years ago. That's what we wanted. So this is awesome. This spell actually is great. And it also has 100% accuracy as well. So it means you can't fizzle it, which is great. Another clap. That is absolutely massive. And of course, the main spell is that you give a Shadow Pip to a target. So now you don't have to wait for 2 Shadow Pips. This is actually massive. And I think that could definitely go in for a couple strats. I'm actually curious to see if the raid guide people, that make raid guides, I want to know if there's ever going to be a use for some of these reworks, especially for some of the shadow packs and stuff like that. But this is absolutely incredible. Huge shout out to Cam or whoever does these spells, because this is perfect. Been waiting that for literally years. Perfect. And that's why I trained up for the spell, because now I have a reason to keep it. Alright, now the next one is going to talk about Dark Surge. Dark Surge is actually, I'm not going to lie, a lot of people might look at this as like, a nerf, right? I'm going to consider this a buff. I'm just going to keep it a bucker with you. I haven't had much of a problem with the shadow spell reworks right now, right? But this one's tough. This one's actually tough. And as a matter of fact, let me show you what Dark Surge looks like now. So this is Dark Surge. It only takes 1 Shadow Pip, which is good. And you can basically give a player 2 Power Pips, right? Which is fine, right? And it's actually 100% accuracy, which is also great, right? Accuracy is great. So you would put that in, and it's pretty good. You give somebody two Power Pips, right? So now we got the new version. And I'm actually going to move my head so you can see it. So right here, we have the new and improved, in my opinion, Dark Surge. So now it's going to basically give a player a chromatic pip of the target, and then it's also going to give a type of chromatic pip of the magic weaving school that you are currently, and then it's going to take 10% of your health. So let's break it down right here. So chromatic pip, because I know a lot of people don't know the slang of Wizard101, and trust me, I'm on the same boat as y'all. It can get a little bit confusing. I mean, just looking at this, I can tell this is going to confuse a lot of people. So it's pretty much the same thing as what we have right now with a regular Dark Surge, except it's going to give a chromatic pip to the target. So let's say I cast it on myself and I'm a life wizard. The game will scan me as, a life wizard. So it's going to give me a life pip, right? And then it's going to also give you a power pip of your selected magic weaving school. So let's say I magic weave into Storm. So then it's going to give me a Storm pip, which is pretty cool. And then after I cast that on whoever or myself, that will basically take 10% of my health. So there's a little bit of a drawback for that. I mean, it doesn't really matter because you just have a heal overtime on yourself and heal that right back up. So there's a little bit of a drawback with it. And it kind of makes it in one of those things where I guess it could be a situational spell. You can't really cast the spell if you're like 1 HP, right? Because then you're just gonna take yourself out, right? You wouldn't want to do that. But this is pretty interesting. Now, you could be wondering, well, if you don't have a magic weaving school, then what happens next? And Cam had said that he'll probably replace it with just a regular power pip if the specific player doesn't even have a magic weaving school, which honestly might be a lot of people because I don't think magic weaving is really that popular. I mean, the spells for magic weaving are great. However, I think that not a whole lot of people have really invested too much into it. Cam also paraphrased, it didn't make sense for this to have specific shadow packs like creature, but it still takes a toll like the other shadow magic. So yeah, it's pretty cool. Now, in my opinion, I consider this a buff. The reason why I consider it a buff is because it's going to give you those specific school pips. So that might be good for you, maybe. And again, I ask, like, maybe if the raid guide people, maybe if is this going to be beneficial for the raids, right? Now, there still is a question about Shadow Pip rating in general, because Shadow Pip rating is kind of like all over the place. It's kind of like a hit or miss, you don't know if you're going to get it on the first round or if it's going to take a couple of rounds to get that Shadow Pip. But it's really interesting, though. I might actually invest in putting my triangle sockets as Shadow Pip rating sockets, because I have a lot of those from the Ghastly raid that keep spawning out thin air, and I just consider those junk jewels. But it might be worth looking into getting a higher Shadow Pip rating, especially if you're a support player, because if you can use a spell like this, maybe you could possibly set somebody up for a school pip specific hit. And maybe they also have trouble with arc mastery. Maybe they might not be getting those school pips that they need. I mean, school pips and arc mastery for like, actually, no, you know why? And here's the thing. Okay, here's another thing. Here's another thing why I like this. A lot of people don't actually know how to like set their school pips, right? A lot of people will go into combat and they're just like leave their school pip as like something random, right? Assuming like maybe a storm or death or whatever, they'll leave it at random. And a lot of people don't actually pay attention to that. So using this, you might help somebody just get that school pip right off the bat, and they don't have to really worry about, you know, selecting whatever school they want, you know. Because it can be easily forgetful. Like it can be easily forgotten that you have to select your school pip. You can do it in your spell book, right? You can do it right here, and you can also do it mid-combat. But I think a lot of people don't really pay attention mid-combat, though. So I think that's why I really like this Dark Surge change. I like it. And again, it also adds that drawback to it, so now it's going to have some repercussions on you. But again, you know, just pop like a Regenerate or a Rebirth, you'll be alright. Probably the only people I would imagine would use this are support players, because I don't really see attack wizards using this because it is going to take some damage for you. So again, it's up to you. It's up for your own interpretation. Personally, for me, I think this is a pretty cool spell, in my opinion. And also, the Donate Shadow Pip is definitely 100%. That's a buff right there, right? That is just a complete overhaul buff. Because previously, it only had like 75 accuracy, and it took 2 Shadow Pips, which, again, never made sense to me. Now it only takes 1 Shadow Pip. It has 100% accuracy, and you can give somebody that Shadow Pip. And maybe that might be good in case, you know, somebody wants to set up for a Shadow Pip hit. You can basically, if you play your cards right, you could be a walking Shadow Pip and Pip battery. Like, you could be a walking Pip battery. Like, as a matter of fact, let me go on my spellbook right now. Because if you have the right stats and just the right mindset on how to do things, I'm going to put in Dark Surge, I'm going to put in Donate Shadow, I'm even going to put in the regular Donate Power spell that I have to still train for. Like, you can just become a walking battery for pips. I think that's cool. I might even make a build for that. So, in my opinion, I like the new spells. I'm liking what I'm seeing so far. I know everybody has been really critical about some of these new spells. Personally, for me, I think it was really cool. So, until then, I will see you guys later. Let me know what you guys think about some of these new spells. And until then, peace out. And have a wonderful weekend, by the way. Have a great weekend.